So in this week's episode, I'm talking to Amanda Bearce. Now, Amanda is a board-certified health and wellness coach. She's the founder of Simply Wellness, which basically helps women who are exhausted from doing it all. She helps them to slow down, tune in and nurture their own well-being through sustained care so that they show up better for themselves and for everyone else around them. And what me and Amanda talk about a lot in this episode is adventure, travel. She's on a journey to travel across all 50 states in the US, which is something I've done myself. So we fully dive into where she wants to go and what she's done so far. But not only that, she'll talk you through and give you some tips that she goes through with her clients, tips for helping you not only have better wellness and strategies that you can use now to incorporate in your daily routines, but also where you can find little snippets of adventure in your life now as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and yeah, enjoy the episode. So Amanda, tell us what adventure means to you and how do you have adventure in your life?
Adventure means to me trying new things, having new experiences, going outside of my normal comfort zone, and just getting out there, seeing what other people are experiencing, different parts of the world, different parts of the country, just even different parts of where I live.
And what is your comfort zone so everybody knows?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Been there.
Have you? Really?
I have, yeah. So this is what I was alluding to before we pressed the record is one of your answers when you filled in the application form was you wanted to travel around to all 50 states for the US. And about 10 years ago now, 12 years ago, I did that with a couple of friends. So
Really?
we stayed with my auntie's friend who I'd never met before. Allowed us to stay at her farm in upstate New York in Poughkeepsie. And so we bought a car and then we drove around the whole of the US. It was just incredible.
Wow, that is so cool.
It was so good. The only places we didn't go, Hawaii is a state, isn't it?
Yes.
So we didn't go Hawaii or Alaska, but we went everywhere else. It was amazing.
Wow, that's really awesome. That must have been quite the adventure.
It was incredible. Well, this is about you. So where do you want to go then? Have you got any particular places in mind? Because I saw in your answer you want to visit all 50 states with your family, is it?
Yeah. So we right now we just did state 26, I think in April or something like that. So we are just trying to check off the rest. And this summer we'll do Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. We'll do Yellowstone. So I'm really excited about that one. It's been so fun because in each area we want to make sure that we're doing and experiencing things and having some sort of adventure. So, eating dinner does not count as visiting that state. Sleeping there does not count as visiting that state. So it's fun to look at the different options of things that we can do. The 26th state that we did was Arkansas, which I did not really know anything about. And I was so pleasantly surprised. We spent a whole day at a mountain bike preserve and had the
nice
time of our lives. It was so much fun.
What's a mountain bike preserve?
So it was an area that was blocked off or protected, where they've made it into all different types of mountain biking. So anything from paved paths all the way to double black diamonds, which you will not catch me on. I wish, but there was a lot of family friendly, kind of like ski grading systems where they go from green all the way up to the double black diamond. So we did some of the green blues and some blues, but it was really a blast. And even just being there, seeing all the other people outside doing their thing. So just getting something I would have never even known was there until I started looking up what can we do in Arkansas. Apparently they're the mountain bike capital of the US, which again, did not know, but we had a blast, pleasantly surprised.
What's been your favorite place so far?
I would say Alaska. So one of the ones that you did not go to, we just did it actually about a year ago. And I almost wish that we saved it for last, but you know, we have to be intentional now and not, so I don't want to end on like North Dakota. No offense to North Dakota, but so we're saving Hawaii for the end. But yeah, I think Alaska was just because it's so different and so raw. And I want to go back. So after we finish all of the 50 states, definitely that's one that I want to revisit and spend more time there.
Yeah, I was so devastated we didn't go to Alaska because
Yeah.
part of I used to live in an apartment with the two friends that I went traveling with, and one day we just got a map out on the floor and said, right, where are we going?
Mm-hmm.
And then that just kicked off the traveling bug and what have you. And we were watching films, so I watched. I mean, it doesn't end well. Obviously, it's that Into the Wild. I don't know whether you've seen that.
I have
That
not.
film was just so inspiring to get out to Alaska. It doesn't end well for him, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you know the story, but oh my god! And then I was devastated when I never went. So
Maybe one day you
I
can.
have to
It's
go.
very worth the trip, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. There's I've been looking and they do these kind of like expedition package type holidays where you go and looking at the bears and you go and like kayaking across along the coast and whale watching and all that kind of stuff. I'd love it. I would love it.
Yeah, it's incredible. The one thing that really I loved there were so many bald eagles everywhere. And we went past this part where we were there during when the salmon were migrating. And so just everywhere you looked, there was bald eagles swooping down on the salmon. It was so, I mean, I can't imagine I'll ever experience that again in my life. It was really incredible.
And how massive are they?
They're
They're
big.
huge, aren't they?
Yes, a little
I
bit
had one.
we did some kayaking and went right past one. It's a little bit creepy just because you're like this big, beautiful, majestic animal, but also that they're intense.
Yeah, it could literally grab my child and fly
Yes,
away.
exactly.
It's so massive. So I can't remember where we were. I just remember being. I think it was at a lakeside somewhere. And there's one as I was laid down reading a book, it just flew over my head, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was a baldy!" It was
Yeah,
incredible,
it
and it
really
was
they
so
are.
massive. I couldn't
I
believe how big it was.
Yeah, the wingspan on those guys is something else.
So crazy. So what else do you do then apart from traveling the 50 states? What else do you do about adventure? How do you seep it into your life?
I try to take time out even when we're not able to make trips outside of our state to go to the mountains, or even there's a bosque by us where there's a river and some beautiful nature trails that we can walk or run or ride our bikes. So trying to do that, but also trying to incorporate adventure just in the daily life. So experiencing, maybe events that we've never done that type of event, or, just meeting new people, try not to get stuck in the same old routine. I work from home, so it's easy to just want to stay here all the time. I'm very introverted, so I'm okay in this little bubble of my house, but also it's kind of I feel like there's like two sides. There's the one that like loves to be here and reading in this cozy chair that I have and never interact with anybody, but also the side that wants to get out and meet new people and see new things.
I love that. I'm very similar myself in that people I'm just like, take
Yeah.
them or leave.
Yep. There's very much a balancing act to that. I feel like I look at my calendar and I'm okay, that's a lot of peopling there. Let me block off some days on my
Yeah,
calendar
let's
to
calm that down.
yes. Gotta recover from that. Let's charge
Yeah,
my emotional
exactly.
battery.
Too much noise. Too much noise that it puts in my head. I need to
Yep.
then go off on my own. My
Same.
place is the mountains.
I love the mountains. I was actually in the mountains yesterday. We have I don't know if you did this when you were in Albuquerque, but there's a tram from the bottom of our mountains up to the top of the mountains. It's beautiful. And I hadn't been, I guess, actually, the very strange thing. I went yesterday, and as I was waiting, I was looking at Facebook. My memories popped up. Apparently, the last time I went was 14 years ago yesterday. So it just happened to be I was there on the same day. But I had never taken my son, who's 10, and my daughter had gone on a field trip, and so never with them. So we went and did some hiking up at the top of the mountain yesterday. And we were up there and said, we need to make this happen once a week this summer. Maybe not riding the tram every time, but we could drive to the crest and then hike from there. But I love the mountains too. There's just some sort of peace that you can find in the mountains that it's hard to find anywhere else.
That is the exact word I use every time. It's just peace.
Mm-hmm.
Peace and freedom. There's something about it. It's in my job. I get so full of noise in my head. It's like a project management, but it's like doing a lot of blue light service stuff. So for the police and ambulance services, etc. So there's a lot of pressure and responsibilities, and there's such a buzzing fog of noise in my head. But as soon as I step out onto that trail, it just kind of washes away, and I'm like,
yep. I can relate to that so much. And also, the feeling, the hearing real noises, not dinging of phones or, whatever's playing on TikTok that we're scrolling, but, also taking a break from the blue light, from just all of these things. It's just, there's something about it. Really feeds the soul.
Yeah, there's so the hiking I did whilst I was in America was I did a couple of days on the Pacific Crest Trail.
Oh, okay. Oh, I bet that was incredible.
It was so good. I just kind of ditched my friends and they went off to, is it Reno?
Yes.
Is it near, what lake is it near? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know.
Can't remember. Tahoe, Lake Tahoe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they went off to Reno and then hung around there whilst I was just walking the Crest Trail for a couple of miles. They dropped me off there and then picked me up a couple of days later, like 100 and odd miles away. It was so good.
I can't even imagine. Did you do hiking in Oregon?
Is it Crater Lake? Is that in Oregon? So long ago.
Like where all of the things are, not my strong suit.
Possibly. I did quite a lot. The main ones was that the Pacific Crest Trail. We did Crater Lake. So we went round the top of Crater Lake, the rim. That was incredible. And then we did, so they went to, again, they just dropped me off. They went to see Mount Rushmore. Is it North or South Dakota? And they dropped me off and I went up a mountain that looks out over Mount Rushmore, which was so much better than just being on the road looking at it, I think.
When we go there, I'm going to have to look that up because that sounds like a much better alternative than just being at the bottom, parking, walking.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. And I saw my first mountain goat there.
Mountain goats are very cool. I feel like they're defying science. I don't know how they do what they do.
It baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
They're very cool.
So what we talked about your comfort zone earlier of where you live, but what about what you actually do? What's your comfort zone for what you do?
So my comfort zone for what I do would be, do you mean like the activities that I do that are in my comfort zone? That kind of thing? Or
that, or your business. So you run your own business, don't you?
Yep, I do.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, so running my business is actually very much outside of my comfort zone, I think, since I am very introverted and I need people for my business. I mean, it's a lot more in my comfort zone now than it was when I first started my business about 3.5 years ago. But I'm always trying to include adventure into that too. Where can I push myself and grow a little bit? What are things that I can do that are a little bit different? Trying to kind of keep adventure involved in that, because that's something that I definitely know about myself is if I get bored and I lose interest, it's not happening. So I very much try to keep myself on my toes in my business, which is hard because it's just me. I'm a solopreneur. So there's nobody here keeping me on track. It's just me, the accountability that I feel towards my clients and wanting them to grow and succeed. And also, of course, wanting to grow and succeed myself. So I definitely try to incorporate that sense of adventure, less nature involved, unfortunately, but maybe one day I can work that in there. But trying to keep myself on my toes, keep that adventure alive inside my business as well.
Nice. So I have my own coaching business. and I've started to incorporate going out hiking into mine with clients. I'm
Yeah.
bringing them. So like I have like a 3-month program and a 6-month program. And so at the end of the 3-month program, we'll have like a weekend up in Scotland or in the Lake District. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Lake District in the UK.
No.
So incredible. And for the 6-month one as well, I like to do like a retreat in the mountains as well, just to kind of hammer all the coaching that we've been through and all the learnings that they've had. But then
Yeah,
it's
I
mainly for
love
me.
that idea.
It's
Is
mainly
this
for
something that
me.
you're doing one-on-one with the clients, or are you doing this as a group, or what does that look like?
That's for my group coaching
Mm,
clients. The one-to-one, will sometimes go out, but not everyone
yeah.
enjoys it. And if there's a group of people, then they're more inclined to go and do it. So, but I do invite them into the group ones to say, there is a group of us going, so you can come along if you want. But it's
Wow.
mainly for me. I just want to
Yeah.
want to keep going out.
Yeah, that sounds very cool. I'm gonna have to think about that and see if there's some way that I can incorporate that. I'm thinking about now the things that are within a reasonable distance that I could take my clients to, or that. Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. What did you do before you started your business then? What
So
were you
before I
just in the
started my
not on like
business,
another 9 to 5?
yes. So before I started my business, I was in IT. Don't really know how I got there, why I went into IT. It was not it for me. I spent every day wondering what I wanted to do when I quote unquote grew up. It was just not my thing. So thankfully, that's not the case anymore.
What was the kind of kick then? What was that moment when you thought I need to do something on my own then? What was that?
Well, I really honestly had this thing. Where I would ask myself, I'm not kidding about asking myself every day, what do I want to do when I grow up? Because I couldn't imagine, being 20 years down the road and still doing the same thing. I felt like it was kind of sucking the life out of me very slowly. So I would kind of I'd be like, oh, do you think I could do that? Anytime I heard about people with a new job, or, is that something I would like to do long term? And then I read something about wellness coaching one day, and it's like, wait a minute, wellness coaching? Because wellness has been my thing for a long time. So I was very intrigued and started just, with just a basic wellness coaching certification, and then a master certification. And now I'm board certified. And I was still doing both. I had my corporate job, you know, while I was trying to build my business. And then there became a time where juggling the two was not sustainable, where I felt that I wasn't well. And that to me was like, okay, I'm working with all of these people on becoming well, on these practices that they should be doing. But here I am kind of burning myself out, trying, switching from my corporate job to my coaching and then back to my corporate job all day. And I realized that was the point where even though I didn't feel ready, that I kind of had to take that plunge and leave the corporate job, go full on into my business, which again was very outside of my comfort zone. I never pictured myself as an entrepreneur. It was not something that I had any desire to do, but now I love it.
Absolutely. So relate to that soul destroying.
Ugh,
Yeah. So with my job, I'd used to do like loads of evenings and weekends, and
uh-huh.
there was one point where it got to like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night or something, and I just pushed away from the screen, and it was just, as you deep in something like you on the screen like this, and then you just push away, and it's like just the darkness comes, and I'm like, oh God, what
Oh.
am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? And that was kind of my kick up the backside to do something. And so someone at work told me, oh, you'd be a good coach, because part of project management was doing a lot of mentoring and coaching. And I was like, isn't that just some hippie tree hugging nonsense? I was
So
so ignorant to it. But
yes.
then I got into it and I was like, wow, this is so powerful. It's
So
crazy.
powerful. That's my favorite word that I use to describe it as well. It's just powerful. And if you don't know much about coaching or have never experienced good coaching, then you really have no idea. I feel like there are areas that everybody should use coaching, experience coaching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's so you say it's wellness coaching.
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit more about what it is you do with your clients, and if you're okay with that.
Yeah, definitely. So I work with primarily women, women that are, burnt out, exhausted, overwhelmed from doing all of the things, on how to slow down, tune in, and take care of themselves. And when I talk about taking care of themselves, I'm talking about these small, manageable ways, not the kind of thing that we see on Instagram where you're revamping your entire life starting on Monday. And then by the end of the week, you've fallen off and, you know, that was a pipe dream that's never going to happen. So I really work with them on how can we be intentional about making these shifts in our daily life and in ways that feel good to us, that we can nurture ourselves, and things that we can continue doing. And also, when we notice that these practices, if they're no, if we come to a point where they're no longer working, we then have the skills to reassess and find new practices or adjust as we need to. So there's a lot of that work around nurturing ourselves, but also on being resilient and kind of trying to let go of that perfectionism that we kind of see everywhere.
So it's burnout, stressed, overwhelmed. What other kind of things are people coming to you that they don't know they're suffering from potentially, but you kind of dig into it as you're going through your coaching with them, and it's like these light bulbs are kicking off on them, like, oh, I didn't even know about that. What kind of other
Yes.
things, if you've got any?
Yeah, the relationship with ourselves. That's the biggest one that I see. And a lot of it comes from this feeling like we can't say no, like we can't set boundaries. So when we start digging into these things, it's we don't have a good relationship with ourselves. And once we build that relationship with ourselves, once we get more comfortable with our values, with our strengths, with the areas that we could maybe use some growth and get more comfortable with who we are, then that's when we can start setting, really tuning in, getting to know ourselves, find what feels good. There are a lot of people out there that I find don't even know, if you ask them, what's one of your favorite ways to wind down? They're wind down? I haven't done that in 20 years. So getting to underneath that surface of the overwhelm and the busyness is that kind of disconnect within themselves of really knowing who they are today.
Mm, mm. I find a lot of, so I essentially help people who know they want something but they don't know what it is. So I help them, trying to help them figure that out. But they a lot of them come to me and they think they've got a good idea of what they want, but it's just completely different once they actually go through the process, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even know I wanted that, but it's just now like a crystal clear, and it's like a pulling. It's so, I
Yes.
can't say how good coaching is for
I
people.
could have used that
Everyone needs it.
when I was stuck in that corporate job, wondering what I wanted to do when I grew up.
Right? Yeah, me too. Me too. So I know, and I'm asking you a question now based off my personal experience. What was it like when you were talking with your family about going into coaching and doing that kind
Oh
of thing?
boy.
Because people with me were like, "What? What are you doing that for?"
Yep. Same thing. Same thing. I still feel like a lot of them are kind of waiting for me to come to them and say, okay, it didn't work out. I got to find another job. It very hesitant, a lot of uncertainty. What does that even mean? Are you sure you can do that? Yeah. I would say my mom and my grandma and then my in-laws, they were very supportive, but a lot of friends and family, I could see it like, oh, okay. Sort of vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, my my partner, bless her, she says, "Are you in a cult?"
I
I
love
was just
that.
in a mastermind with other coaches.
Yeah.
She's like, "Are you in a cult? Are you okay?"
I could see that where it's, that all of a sudden you're learning and growing and all of this self-development is happening and it can kind of feel that way from the outside, I think. I could see that. Yeah.
It does make me laugh. Some people just, they don't. It's hard to explain, isn't it? I don't know how it is for you, but for me, it was like I was just explaining then what it is with my clients when they get like that pull to do something. That's what it's like for me now. It's like I have to do this. There's no two ways about it. It's like my kind of calling, and more and more and more now. I'm like I say, I'm pulling in this adventure and getting outdoors into it, and I feel like it's taken over a bit from the actual coaching, maybe.
Ooh.
Which is why I set up this podcast. I just love talking about it.
Yeah. Well, it really is very cool because you can mix the two. They can definitely go hand in hand. And I think there's a lot of people out there that need more of that adventure, that need more of that outdoors time, that don't even know it, or that aren't comfortable going out there and doing it and trying it, or think they're not outdoorsy people, or, but once they have some motivation to get out there, it's opening up a whole new world for them.
Yeah, I was interviewing someone yesterday, and she mentioned something that I'd never heard of: forest bathing. Have you heard of forest bathing?
I feel like I might have, but I don't know the details.
It's essentially just getting out into the forest.
Oh,
It's not
it
like
should be a
taking a bath
regular
in there, which
practice, just like regular bathing.
yeah. She says so essentially she helps people build like a resilience. So she coaches people in building resilience and tuning in that resilience muscle.
Mhm.
And one of her kind of things is get out into the forest.
Mm.
And then I was looking at some of the research into it because I was intrigued by it, and it's fascinating what, even down to like the shapes of the leaves and the branches and everything, and how it connects with different parts of your brain and
Mhm.
even your eyes, and how it soothes and helps you kind of de-stress. It's incredible what nature can do for you.
Which makes sense, because we both said we have that feeling of peace, of calm that you don't get anywhere else. And I could see that when I'm even just looking around where I'm right now, I'm seeing squares, I'm seeing a rectangle, I see a heart. But when we go out into the mountains, yeah, very different, these natural shapes that we're not seeing in our day to day, unless if we're intentionally going to I mean, I can't make it to the forest every day, unfortunately, but I would love to. But even, something that I work with clients on is in their workday, can we get outside and take a walk for 5 minutes? Is that something that we can do? Just because that, the fresh air, the sunlight, if you can find somewhere where there is kind of a little natural path, that's even better. And there are studies around that too that show even a 5-minute outdoor brisk walk can increase your productivity and focus just as much as a cup of coffee.
All right, listeners, if you love this episode so far, make sure you hit the follow. I think there's a like button, subscribe button, whatever it is. I think on YouTube there's a red bell that you have to hit to make sure that you never miss an episode, so you get the notifications when new episodes drop. Now, if you're getting value from today, what I want you to do is share it with somebody who you know who needs to hear the message in the episode today, because real success isn't about keeping the good stuff to yourself. It's about spreading the word and helping as many people as we can. So let's spread that adventure. Now back to the show. Yeah, absolutely. I, like you, I work from home as well, so I'm in here all day. So that there is my my fake tree. Other than that, it's just pictures of like Norway. When I was traveling, we went to Scandinavia as well. So I went to Norway, and I've just got pictures of it everywhere. That place.
Ooh.
If you love the mountains and water, oh my
Yes.
god, you have to go to the fjords of Norway. Incredible.
Now that we're thinking about doing the 50 states, I keep thinking about, okay, and then where are we going after that?
And then
Because
where?
definitely after that, we're venturing out of the United States.
Nice.
Norway is definitely on the list. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a job lined up on a farm in New Zealand, but I couldn't afford the flight to get there. I'd run out of money. I was so devastated.
Oh, shoot. No.
So I had to come home.
Oh, no.
And I go onto my mother's couch. Oh, God.
No.
But I'd love to go to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely doing that. But Norway, cannot recommend it enough.
Okay.
It's an amazing place.
Noted.
It was, I don't know whether you've ever experienced it, but when I was there, it was in summer. So it was 24-hour daylight. So it was like the midnight sun.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so strange.
Yeah.
Like
the closest thing that I've experienced to that was Alaska. We were there in the summer, And I think it was maybe 10:30 at night when it got dark there. So that's the closest I've ever been to experiencing that. And even that is it's a very
Mm,
different than the normal.
yeah. When I woke up it was like 2 a.m. and unzipped the tent because we were just camping the whole way, and it was just orange. The sky was just orange. It was so
Wow.
strange. At first, I thought, because we were like by some woods, I thought, are the woods on fire?
Oh no. Have a moment
I
of
thought it
panic.
was on fire. Yeah, I did. But no, it was so incredible. But yeah, Norway is a massive recommendation. So what's your next state?
So the next state is Wyoming. I
Yeah,
think
you
Montana.
said yeah.
Yeah, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. And then we actually don't have anything planned past that, which is very weird for us. Normally, we always have our next trips planned out. We're trying to be pretty strategic about we usually fly into one place and then drive around the others, and try to, what can we do in the surrounding areas. So I'm not sure what's coming after that, but we have a little scratch off map right over our laundry basket. So I see it every day. And it's like, okay, these are the states that we need to go. So I'm always planning in my head, and then we could do that. And then we could do those ones. And it's such a fun thing, but I really am, like I just said, thinking about, okay, and then what's after that? Because the travel bug is real.
It, it
It
is.
kind of
It
becomes
is.
all consuming. I'll be thinking about buying something and I'm like, but would I rather use the money for a trip or for that? And I'm like, a trip.
That sounds
We
like
don't
me
need a
so
car,
much.
do we?
No, yeah, exactly. All this money I'm wasting on fuel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember when where was it? I remember where it was. Might have been New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to New Orleans at
Yes.
all?
Yep.
I love that place. There was because I love like jazz music and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So we went
It's the
down.
place for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We went down Bourbon Street, um, which was good, but there was a bit too many people there for me,
Yes.
for my liking.
It's pretty wild on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, it was. So I was there during the day, and then I got chatting to this guy in a bar, and he was like, this is where you want to go to," and
Yes.
he pointed me out to somewhere. I think it was about a mile off the main drag, and I went, and there was like just a couple of little bars, and I found one. There was like two people in there, but I had one of the best nights of my
Yes.
life listening to that music. I was like, oh my God, it was so good. The guy on the saxophone was just absolutely killing it.
Yes. I had a similar experience there, not on my family's 50 states journey, but I went to a conference there once, and people started telling us, oh, Bourbon Street is, very touristy, but there's this kind of more off the beaten path place. And oh my gosh, the music was incredible. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Such a fun
And
time.
yeah, and they were, you would have thought that they wouldn't really be too fussed and giving it too much because there was like me and two other people in this bar, but they were
Mm-hmm.
absolutely going for it and just loving it. And I was like, yes,
Yes.
this is amazing. And I
Mm-hmm.
love the saxophone.
Yeah. I
Suits
remember that.
my soul.
Mm-hmm. I remember the energy in the one that we were in was something, one of those things, there's these little pockets where you find these moments that you've never experienced anything exactly like this before. I remember feeling that there because it was just everybody was so present in that moment, feeling the music. It was really great.
Nice. Nice. So what with regards to your business and you're saying you're thinking about potentially trying to bring some adventure into it, what does that look like for you then?
That's a great
Or
question.
have you not dived into it too much?
I haven't really thought about it until we had this conversation. The most that I talk
Oh,
about right now is, aside from, if it's the client's idea or when we're brainstorming and bouncing different ideas off of each other, but I definitely think it's something that I want to think about because we do get wrapped up in these routines. And especially, a lot of my clients have children that are in sports and that's taking up all of their weekends. But how can we work being intentional about getting out into nature and not just getting into the normal or getting stuck in that normal we eat, we wake up, we eat, we work, we have dinner, we do laundry, we grocery shop, get outside of that. And can we incorporate nature more regularly and see what those effects are? Because most people do feel that calm, that peace, but they're just not even taking the time to go there. So I really
Mm.
want to, I'm definitely going to put this some time on my calendar to sit down and think about how I can make this a part of my coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so good. I love it. I absolutely love it. There's I forgot now. I should start writing notes whilst I'm doing this podcast. I find little things and I think, oh, I'll talk about that, and then I completely forget it. So I should
Yeah,
definitely start writing some notes.
I do that in regular conversation frequently.
Yeah, yeah. So what's one thing that taking it back to your business now, and how you help your clients, and someone comes to you who is stressed and overwhelmed and burnt out, what's one thing that you tell them to do right from the off as just like a mini kind of quick win, almost a quick action step that they can do that you take your clients through?
Yeah. So I have a little thing that I like to call self-care snacks. And they're these little intentional ways that we can, we might not have time for an hour to give ourselves some real self-care, but we can work in these little mini ways. So I'll start with things that are really easy that we don't even need to leave our desk for. So one that just pops up right now for me is stretching. A lot of the times when we're at our desk, we're typing away and our shoulders end up at our ears and we haven't had a deep breath. So you know, after you finish a task, before you start your next task, do some stretching that you can do even just in your chair. Think about bringing your shoulders down. We can stretch our legs from our chair. We can do some seated twists. And those help to improve circulation. They help to release tension. They help us to even just bring awareness to our body. There might be something going in our body that we haven't even been paying attention to because we're so honed in on the work that we're doing. But that's really what I like to do is start with these really easy ways. Like we're not even having to leave our desk, but we're still giving ourselves some attention, some love. And then the more that they do that, the more that they're tuning in with themselves and getting awareness around what they might need. And they didn't even know before because they're just kind of ignoring all these signals that their brain is sending them.
What kind of things did they pick up on then? Did they start to pick up on?
Had a lot of clients start to pick up on that they're not drinking water throughout the day. So they're wondering why they're feeling so groggy, why they're having trouble focusing, why it seems like they're slower than they used to be. And then by the end of the day, they're realizing, oh, I have this water bottle that I'm carrying around with me all day. And then I realized I'm not even drinking anything throughout my day. Or same thing with eating. People will say, at the end of my workday, I always feel really irritable. Or when I get home, I explode on my partner right away because they haven't eaten anything for their entire day. So it's a
Ugh.
lot of the time there are these basic needs that they're just kind of ignoring because they have this feeling that even though there's, should be a time for breaks throughout our day or a lunch hour, they're not taking them because we feel like we have to be productive for every second of every day. But the flip side of that is when they start doing these things, when they start taking a few intentional breaths between tasks, when they do incorporate that 5-minute walk, drink water, eat, that they're actually more productive, even though they're taking that time away because they're giving their body fuel. They're giving their body movement. They're doing all these things that might seem very basic, but that they were forgetting before to take care of themselves. And then they're noticing I was able to focus through that whole meeting when before I was feeling like I was going to fall asleep. I was able to, I didn't forget anything today because I took time to write down everything in my brain on paper. So it's really cool seeing that flip side of, oh, wait, when I actually do take breaks for myself, I'm actually getting more done during my workday because of that. And they're going home with more energy to then be a productive member of their family, to have conversations with their friends, with their significant others, with their children, whereas before they would get home and feel done.
Yeah, that's one thing I really, really suffered with on my side was that buzzing noise that was in my head.
Mhm.
I just wanted to sit in complete and utter silence. I
Yes.
didn't want to talk to anybody. I must have been an absolute nightmare for my partner because she'd be wanting to talk about her day. Sometimes she'd already be in bed asleep.
Yep. Yeah, that
But I'd just be like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry, but it's literally hurting my head. I
yeah.
can't talk.
I would always tell my husband I felt like I had like 50 ping pong balls just like bouncing around my head and going everywhere all at the same time. And I didn't know how to make it stop. And now, not to say it never happens, but it happens so much less because I am very intentional about the way that I take care of myself. And when I start to slip and start to feel that coming back, it's an instant like, oh my gosh, no, we're not going back. we're we're doubling down on those practices to take care of myself so that I can be better for not just for myself, which is very important, but also for everybody around me. It's really it's really fun to see when people do have those like light bulb moments of like, oh wait, this is working. Oh, and because I'm taking care of myself, now my daughter is taking better care of herself. And kind of that butterfly effect.
Yeah, nice. It's so true though, to look after everybody else, you've got to look after
Hmm.
yourself as well. And there's one thing that really helped me, that my coach introduced me to, which was, I can't remember whose thing it was, but it was like, set an alarm on your phone so you work 25 minutes and then stop for
Yes, the Pomodoro
five
technique.
minutes. That's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And just continued. That was such a massive help. And I found that in that 25 minutes, I was getting so much more done.
Hmm.
And then just taking that 5 minutes out. Whereas at first I was like, but I'm going to lose all this time.
No,
But I was getting so much more done.
it's incredible.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's one of the big things that I work with clients on. I try to do the Pomodoro technique, but time management in general is just a tricky one. But what I love about the Pomodoro is that before you start those 25 minutes chunks, you close your text messaging apps, you close your email, you get rid of all of your distractions so that that 25 minutes of work is uninterrupted and focused. And there's nothing like that. We think we can multitask, but every time we're looking at our text messages, we're losing track and then we have to get back on track. And yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. I actually have a little cube timer that I use right here because I do the Pomodoro technique as well. And that makes a big difference for me because I would notice, okay, I would see like, when is the 25 minutes going to be up? But I set my little timer and then hone in and man, can get a lot done. And it's better quality work too when we have that
Yeah.
focus. And then you've got that 5 minutes to take care of yourself, address your needs, let your brain clear out. It's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And were you saying earlier, that what comes up for people is that they never realized they needed was that relationship with themselves. And so
Hmm.
what does that look like? Take us into that a bit, if you will.
Yeah. So a lot of times that looks like people are ignoring their own needs because they've always felt like they have to do everything else for everybody first. And when we're putting
Mm.
ourselves last, we never get there. So there's this tricky part of starting to move into addressing your own needs because they feel shame about it. They feel guilt about it. They feel like, the other people's needs should come first. So we kind of do some different work depending on the person and what exactly is going on, but into, self-trust, into self-compassion is a really big one, self-doubt, and kind of listening to each person and seeing what exactly those points, where that problem with prioritizing their own needs comes from. We kind of target in on those areas and see, because a lot of the times we've been taught since we were little kids, especially women, that everybody else's needs come first, or that we should always look and be and feel a certain way. So they've been kind of blocking everything out for so long and not connecting with themselves, not even asking themselves, what can I do for me today? Even if it's, 5 minutes, like we talked about, just that little teeny chunk. But it's really fun to get into that and to see them start to shift and start to get comfortable asking for something that they need. A lot of people don't even feel comfortable asking their partners or kids for 25 minutes to themselves at first. So seeing them do that, and then how good that it feels and how much that it does for them. It's one of those things, I love helping other people to change, but also that for me is very fulfilling to see when they start experiencing these things and they're so happy and excited telling me about it. And I can just see kind of the change in the way they present themselves. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's body language from like one meeting to the next can be so incredibly different. It's depending on obviously what breakthroughs or transformations they've had. It's funny you mentioned then when you mentioned especially women, because I was just about to come on to the fact that whenever I've had clients, I've noticed that it's a lot of mothers who feel that guilt about not taking care of other people's needs and pushing they're the ones that feel more guilty.
Yes.
So it's really interesting that you brought that up then. So it's definitely not just something I've noticed then.
No. And it's something I have experienced firsthand. And it's interesting throughout my journey. When I first really started working on this, well, there's different phases of my wellness journey on this layer of feeling comfortable taking care of myself, and not just with nutrition and exercise, because that was the first thing. Those were the first areas that I prioritized, which of course are very important, but they are not the whole picture. But then I started noticing times where I would kind of snap at my daughter when it wasn't something that was her. It was because I was at the end of my rope and I just didn't have anywhere to go. So that when I would do that, I realized this is not the way that I want to raise my daughter. I have a son also, but this was specifically happening with her. She's older, so noticed it there first. And that's where I started really going through this work of how can I can feel that I'm at the end of my rope. I don't always want to live there. What do I need to do so that I'm not? And I was doing it purely for her so that I wasn't raising her that way. And then as I went through the journey, I realized, oh, it's actually, I don't have to only do this for her. Of course, she's a big reason, and I want her to feel comfortable taking care of herself and, making her needs important to her as well. But now I feel so much more comfortable doing things that I want to do that my family doesn't want to do. Or, I this year was the first time I did it, but it's something that I want to do regularly. I went on a trip by myself, and that was something that 10 years ago, I would have never asked my family to have a weekend without me so that I could go do something purely for me. And let me tell you, it was glorious. But there, it's not easy. There are so many steps along the way that it's taken to get there. But it's actually such a cool feeling to see I was doing it for her, which is what got me started. But now, of course, everybody else is important, but it feels so good to do it for me too, and to truly learn to nurture myself. 10 years ago, if you would have asked me if I could ever nurture myself, I would have been like, what does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I would have been like, okay, you weirdo. Again, are you in a cult? But and when I do, I've carved out time every week where I take by myself, and I don't have set things planned. I think to myself, what do I want today? What do I need today? And it feels so good to be able to oh, today I want to build some Legos and listen to a true crime podcast and nurture myself in these ways that I never thought were possible. And then another really cool part for me is that I can see my daughter doing that for herself. And so it's kind of like full circle. I started it for her, and I see her, she'll tell us, I need some time by myself. I'm going to go to my room for a little while. And, it's this full circle thing that just feels so good.
Proud moment.
Yes. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
There's I was interviewing a lady called Nicole Hope Sylvester yesterday, and she's really big on solo camping. So she started solo camping during COVID.
Ooh.
She said, I just need to get out. I just need to get out. I just need to get out of this house. And it was nothing to do with her family or anything like that. It was just kind of similar to what we've been talking about with that noise in the head and just finding that peace and quiet. Hers was going out into the forest and solo camping. And I was like, wow.
That's really cool. I'm a little afraid of being murdered, but one day, maybe.
Well, we touched on that a little. I said that must have been quite scary the first time that you'd done that. And she she was obviously nervous and a little scared, but it's just second nature now. She absolutely loves it,
I love
which is
that.
great.
That's so
Um,
awesome. I even just going on the trip by myself was a stretch for me. Feel like, I mean, I've gone on trips without my family where I've gone with friends, but never where I'm totally responsible for everything. I don't know. I just had never done that for some reason. And when I'm with my husband, he's very much like, I never drive. So I'm like, I can do things by myself, which sounds ridiculous, but there are just certain areas where he does them. So having to get used to doing that on my own, I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but I do a lot of things on my own. But just, traveling, going places that I've never been before, there wasn't going to be service where I was going. I did do some hiking, and I do get lost easily. So there was a whole different awareness. Usually I'm like, oh, he's got it, just, enjoying nature. So there was a different awareness of, okay, I have to pay attention to where I turned. What was how far am I going on this trail? Am I going to make it back before sunset? Just a whole different awareness that I usually kind of just let my husband take care of.
yeah, there's quite a skill set involved in it, really.
Yes.
With that awareness side of it, especially. Couple of things I wanted to pick up on from what you were talking about then. One is just a stupid little thing. But first is you were mentioning for your daughter, you want to and we were talking about how women are told when they're younger, put other people's needs first, people come first, try and help them. And it's strange because I don't know whether it's just maybe old school female male dynamic, but I was always told when I was younger, you have to work hard and provide.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work hard and provide. You have to work hard and provide. It's just a weird. Those dynamics are so strange.
They really are.
When we look back on them and how much of an imprint it has on how it dictates the rest of your life, especially when you're younger, because you're just a sponge, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the second thing, which is just a stupid little thing, is you mentioned you want to listen to a true crime podcast. I worry sometimes if someone saw the podcasts I listen to or managed to hook onto my TV and see the documentaries that I watch, and I'm like, I think I'm some kind of serial killer in the making.
Yes. I always say I feel like I have no in between. I'm either listening to something about personal growth and, all of these really positive things, or murder. Like there's not an in between. So I had this realization a month ago or so. So I actually have been trying to listen to just some regular storytelling podcasts that don't involve murder, which I have found that I really enjoy. But yeah, there's this thing of like, I'm like, okay, that's enough personal growth for the day. Let's go listen to this murder story. It's, I don't know why.
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. So I have all these personal growth ones as well, but then I have I don't know if you heard of Mr. Ball and Strange, Dark and Mysterious. Oh, so good.
Okay, noted.
So good. Yeah.
The one time that didn't work out well for me was I was at the dentist and I asked them, is it okay if I listen to a podcast? Yeah, sure. And it happened to be a true crime podcast about a dentist that was murdering his patients. And I was like, oh gosh, why right now?
As he started to yank your teeth out.
Yeah. I had to stay ready for the rest of that appointment.
I do worry though. If someone who didn't know me saw all the documentaries and stuff, they'd be like, who is this guy? He's a freak.
Huh? You're not alone.
I'm not. The fact that there's so many of them proves that I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I tell myself anyway.
Yes.
So what's just to kind of bring it to a close, then what's one big adventure or big dream that you've got that you haven't gone for just yet?
I think going to Iceland is probably the big one that I haven't gone for yet. And also doing bigger and more outdoor stuff. So we do hiking, but keeping my youngest is 10. So, whatever a 10-year-old can do, which he can do as much as most adults, but safety and all of that jazz. So, but doing more of that raw adventure is something that I really want to do that we just haven't done quite yet. But once there's an idea up here, it happens usually. So just got to make it happen.
Absolutely.
I always rope my husband into these ideas. It always starts with, so what if? It's like, oh no, here we go again.
Iceland's really nice, by the way.
I cannot wait
So
to go there.
We went to Iceland, but I do regret not exploring it more. We were only there for like a long weekend.
Oh, okay.
So we were just in like Reykjavik, and we did the Blue Lagoon. So we didn't really go out exploring like the Black Sand Beach or something.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do any of the kind of proper exploring, which I would have liked to do. So I've got to go back as well.
Yes.
Amazing, Amanda. This has been a great conversation. So how can people, and we'll add everything to the show notes, but how can people get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is my website, which is simplywellnesscoach.com. And to sign up for my newsletter, it's a weekly thing, but they're short with intentional steps that you can take to start really taking care of yourself.
Amazing. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Amanda. I really do appreciate you having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Have you ever felt like business should be more than numbers and deadlines? Like there's an entire world to explore beyond your office walls? Is adventure calling your name? I'm Ian Whitehead, and I'm your guide on Uncharted, the Entrepreneur's Adventure podcast, where I bring you real stories from visionary leaders who've built empires and climbed literal mountains. Because success isn't just about the bottom line, it's about the thrill of taking risks, the courage to pursue what truly lights you up, and the freedom to chart your own course. Each week we'll dive deep into the minds of boundary-pushing entrepreneurs and adventurers, revealing how they found purpose in the chaos and discovered their true north, both in business and beyond. So, if you're ready to break free from the ordinary, embrace bold action and inject a little more adventure into your life, welcome to Uncharted. Your journey starts here.